because of whom 13 is my lucky number. She lived on 13 Altamont Road, which is where I romanced her. And ever since then, it's been my lucky number, so I wish she was here. And I wish my daughter was here too. And the principal reason is that family has a way of keeping you grounded. It prevents you from getting your head too much in the clouds. And I repeat a story which I once told Vineet at the Global Management Cadre meeting in Mumbai about how my daughter keeps me in line. When she was very young, she must have been about 8 years old, I took her to the zoo, and we stopped in front of the cage of the lion, and she looked very, very hesitant and full of trepidation. So I began calming her and telling her that don't worry, it won't eat you up, Daddy's here, I'll look after you. So she looked calmed, and she looked up at me and said, Papa, can I have 10 rupees? And I said, sure, darling, why? She said, because if the lion does eat you up, I'll need the money for a taxi to go home. That just about gave me an idea of how important in their lives we are. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been 365 days, 1 year, since the tumult, the trauma, the uncertainty of what happened on April 13th, and before that, in fact, the tumult that you went through for 3 months prior to April 13th. And I reminded that the cycle that we've been through since then reflects the opposing paradigms of life itself, of despair, destruction, and then contrasted with renewal and hope. And the thought that came to my mind was of a song I used to love in the 60s. I'm sure the minister remembers this. This was Pete Seeger's song, Turn, Turn, Turn. You remember that? I knew you'd remember that. I heard you were a hippie when you were in college. This is the song. I had to write this down. I Googled this. And this is how the song went, part of it. In everything, there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time of war, a time of peace. Yes, in everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season. And when you look at these words, what better lyrics to embody what happened to all of us here. Time to be born. Thanks to the government of India, as CP mentioned, there was birth even as a former entity died. And these are not just simple words, Minister, Secretary. I was very proud at what took place. The speed of the action, of the resolve with which the government moved in. And they knew this was not about their reputation, not just about the company's reputation. It was about people, about their lives, about their incomes, about their families. And that's what sets India apart. That's why Satyam survives today. That's why Lehman Brothers doesn't. A time to kill and a time to heal. We did kill something last year on April 13th. We killed the past that we didn't want. We killed elements of Satyam that you wouldn't have wanted to be sustained. We killed the violation of ethics, of integrity, of what you all stood for and why you worked, why you came to work in the morning. We did kill that. But we did heal as well, I hope. I think we healed, we remembered the good things about Satyam, and we made sure that those were not discarded. It was a time to break down and build up, as the song says, and break down, I think they did. You broke down structures, CP, that didn't work. You built up structures that would work, that would make this company strong and survive. And so it's time to thank you, Vineet and CP, because I think Vineet embodies the ultimate professional to me, because when he came to us as a board and said, this is what I think we should do, I think we must strive to win Satyam. I know he saw opportunity. He's too good a businessman not to see it. But what I love about Vineet is that he thinks with his heart as well. It never works in isolation. His brain and his heart work in tandem. And this was a noble cause. He knew it would work because of that. And I think Vineet's credo is that the job of the manager is not to eliminate risk. It's to eliminate unwarranted risk. In fact, the manager's job is to assume risk, because the more risk you get, the more reward you get. To that extent, he is the consummate professional. And I want to acknowledge the gratitude of the Mahindra Group for his leadership, and for CP's leadership, and for Sanjay Kalra's leadership, because Sanjay backed this from the very beginning, and though he's not here today, he's minding the ship, the mothership, which has to stay on an even keel, resist the storms, so that Mahindra Satyam can be anchored to it and can also become impervious and immune to storms. So please give them a big hand, the leadership team here. The next line in the song was a time to weep and to laugh. As far as the weeping is concerned, I got a first-hand view of how much you wept. Last night I got that impression and that account from the spouses of many of the leadership team here. I had the opportunity to sit and chat for a while with many of the spouses, and I learned a great deal. I learned what they underwent. I learned how they were traumatized. Many were both working for the Satyam Group, and so it was a double whammy, as they called it. Their children were traumatized. But it's interesting, Minister, you know what they said? I asked them, were you bitter? And there was no bitterness. Even today, 1 year later, there is no recrimination. There was only an appreciation of the good qualities of the founder of this company and what he did for them. I think that's a unique Indian quality. All they said was, we don't want to think about that. What we focused on was hope. And the hope that the government brought to us, the speed with which it acted, you cannot believe the gratitude that these people have for how the government acted and how much pride they take in how the government acted. So once again, I'm very pleased that you're here today. But also, they talked about how they banded together as a community and how their children banded together. And I heard remarkable stories about how their children would still meet the children of the founding members of this company and had agreed never to bring up this topic. That ability to forgive and to look ahead, once again, I think is uniquely Indian. And I was very proud to be a part of this community, and I want to compliment you and all of you, because frankly, what I learned last night was that, yes, we've complimented the government, I've complimented the leadership team, but this was a company where the unsung heroes were you all, because you determined to stick together. This was not Enron. This was not a company where people abandoned a sinking ship. You decided to stick in there. You decided to hang in there and hold on to the legacy you made. So I genuinely want all of you to applaud yourselves as unsung heroes. And so finally, it's now a time of peace. I think the war has passed. It's a time to laugh and to dance. We've seen a lot of that. I saw some of the skills last night. I saw some of the skills of laughing and dancing this morning. And the time has come for new aspirations. As I said last time, we haven't come together simply to remain the number 4 IT company. We are really here because we want to aim for the top. So there's an old Urdu sher that is this, which describes how we have to help ourselves even in these impossible goals. तेरी तकदीर क्यों बिठाऊं? खुदा आपसे पूछते हैं. अगर आप खुदा से कुछ मांगेंगे, तो तेरी तकदीर क्यों बिठाऊं? अपने लिए तकदीर बना दो, ताकि मैं मदद कर सकूं. And that, I think, is the essence of it, that we have to make our own taqdeer. And then the powers that be, whether they are government, whether they are leadership, madad karne ke liye kafi log hain yahan. But I would again urge you all to think about being number one. Because everything that you've been through will not be worth it unless we aim for the top. In fact, if I had an opportunity to rename this company, it wouldn't be Satyam or Mahindra Satyam, it would be the Phoenix. Because the Phoenix, as you know, was that mythical bird which once every 1,000 years erupts into flame and self-destructs. But then, just as miraculously, it rises from the ashes, even more glorious than before. And that, I think, describes all of you and what you have achieved. So may I wish you all the very best in your endeavors, and may the Phoenix rise again, may it soar high, and may you fly free. Thank you very much.